Hello there, welcome to part 4. We've got quite a big thing going on now. We've got quite a lot of hat here. And the next rounds are really straightforward. We're going to change them up again. So we've ended on a double crochet row, as per usual with our blocks of 2 singles and a double. And we're going to start with a single, chain 1 and 2 single crochets in the same stitch, which we've been doing all along. Okay, and this is a repeat. Please remember to put your stitch marker in because it's really important for these rounds, and you'll see why when I do this one. Okay, so we're starting on the next lot of repeats, which are exactly the same bar one difference. So each time we do a set of repeats, it's slightly different. You're going to keep it exactly the same as the last one with an extra increase. So we're now going to be increasing this hat 3 stitches each round. So we've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Doesn't really matter about the counting if you've got, because you might be on different stitches to me. Now, once you can see that where you've got your marker in is you're about halfway round, it's completely opposite where you're at. So it's not a particular amount of stitches, it's just at the front of the hat, and we want to try and make it as much as possible completely opposite where your stitch marker is. You're going to put another one in. So we're at the front of the hat here, and we're going to put an extra stitch in there as we're going round. Okay, so that's given us 2 increases already, and we're going to keep going round to the end. I'll try and speed along a bit actually, because hopefully you've got the hang of these single crochets going all the way around. And please don't worry about how slow you are doing it. When you first learn, you're going to be more concise. When I first started doing it, I was probably going at quite a slow speed. You're going to put it in to make sure you've got the right stitch and pull it through and pull through 2. And sometimes the pull through 2 is difficult. When you first start, you might end up pulling through one and then having to pull through the other. But it really doesn't matter. Once you get a little bit more proficient, and with practice, like with absolutely anything, practice makes perfect, you'll end up whizzing along. Eventually, once and some of you might get it like immediately, and other people might need to take a bit more time. So we're in the last stitch of this row, and like we did before, we're going to put another one in there as well. So that's an increase at the beginning, an increase halfway round, and an increase in the end, which gives us a total increase of 3 stitches per round. So when you're counting your stitches, make sure you've increased by 3. All right, so if you had 40 stitches there, you will now have 43 stitches. In the next round, you'll have 46 stitches. All right, so our next blocks are, we'll just pull this so I can. So your next blocks are exactly the same, of 2 single crochets and a double crochet, and we're going to do an increase in the first stitch, so 2 single crochets in the first stitch, an increase half the way round, 2 increases, so an extra one in the front, 1 increase in the front, and then we're going to do another stitch in the same stitch at the end, which is an increase again. So I'm just going to take you round that single crochet round one more time. So we're going to do a chain 1 and then 2 single crochets in 1 stitch in that very first stitch, and we're not going to forget to put our stitch marker in that very first stitch, and we're going to single crochet all of the way round, but we're going to stop halfway when we think we're about halfway, when that stitch marker is opposite where we are, and we're going to put an extra stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch halfway around, once we get halfway around. And like I said, you can do it if you want to work out exactly halfway with your stitch count. So if you've got 43, then you're going to say, well, on 21 or 22, I'm going to put two single crochets in the same space. Or you can do it by eye and say, right, well, that stitch marker is pretty much opposite where I am. Let's have a look where we are now. I reckon in the next one. So pretty much opposite here. I'm going to put 2 in there to increase by 1 at the front of the hat. And then we're going to keep going all the way round and increase again at the end. It really doesn't take long to make these hats. Like I said, when I made the purple one, I was at it on and off for the day, but by the end of the evening before dinner time, I'd finished it. So once you get, reasonably quick at doing your stitches, you can make these little hats very, very quickly. Obviously there's more to come to finish it completely. You've noticed that the stripes aren't there. We'll be doing those once we've finished this bit, and then we'll be putting the peak of the hat on. All right, so there's another couple of parts to come where I will show you that, and then there'll be a separate video on how to turn it into a Halloween hat. Okay, so we're in our last stitch here at the end. I'm going to put an extra one in there, so that's our 3rd increase. All right, and then we're going to slip stitch where our marker is as usual. Exactly the same for the next round of double crochets. So you do 2 double crochets. Well, we're going to do what we've done in every round. We're going to do a chain 2 and a double crochet in the same space, which gives us an increase of 1. And then when we get halfway, we're going to do two double crochets in 1, and then when we get to the end, we're going to do 2 double crochets in that last stitch. Where's the last stitch? There. That one there. All right, once you've got all the way round. Now, the interesting thing about this is going to be growing both sides now. We're going to be going off this way a little bit and off this way still. And what I want you to do with this one, there's no hard and fast rule about how many you're going to do. All right. I'm just going to put myself a stitch marker here, so I know to do that in my double. And I'm going to just mark that 1 so I know that's where I started, so I can count how many. You might need another 4. I would suggest probably 4 would fit a 54 centimetre sized head, which could be a small child or an adult with a smallish head. I have a 54 centimetre head, but my 10-year-old granddaughter has a 54 centimetre head. So we take the same size hat size. We found that out by horse riding, actually, because we both had the same size skull cap years ago when we were going. And yeah, so you know, it depends what size your head is, but you don't need to necessarily measure your head or your child's head, because the wonderful thing about this hat is that it will fit children. You just need to keep going until it fits. So all you need to do is try it on whoever you're making it for. And once you think it's big enough, just keep trying it on. And if you think, oh no, I need another few on there to make it fit, but I reckon another block will do it. Just make sure that you do it in blocks. You know, if it's almost fitting, still do the 2 single crochets and the double, still do a whole block. That's really important. All right. And then try it on again. And then if it doesn't fit, do another block and try it on again. So you just keep going now with increasing these 3, putting these 3 increases in. So it increases by 3 in every round, and keep going until it fits. All right. Happy crocheting, everybody. And I will put the next video up, which will be part 5 tomorrow. Thank you.